Hey, everybody. This has been a good Wednesday. I hope it's been a good one for you, too. I'm glad y'all made it back. Hope a few more people trickle on in so we can have a good conversation today. Housekeeping first, of course. First things first, always. Y'all, please hit the like button for me. If you already did, I thank you. And if you have not hit that bad boy yet, it's okay. It ain't too late. Go ahead, reach over there and hit it. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. And you can join channel membership. It ain't too late for that either. You can become officially a member of the royal family where you will be welcomed and treated like family. We'll be very happy to have you at any time. Whether you're royal family or not, you are welcome over here. So please come again and come often. Now, some of y'all know we got some more stuff planned for this evening for members only. But for right now, we're going to have us a conversation. But before we get into it, I like to greet everybody. So let me just holler at everybody who's here. It ain't that many folks, so I should be able to get through it kind of quick, huh? I'm going to try to run through it, holler at everybody real fast, and then we just going to start talking. Anybody come in after that, y'all help me greet them as they get here. Okay? Hey, Angie, how are you? JC, what's up, girl? Auntie Eva, hello. CC Miller, how you doing? Good to see you. A lady 747, hey, sis. Sandra, hey there, you made it. S. Collins, good to see you. Good to see you. Who else we got? Serene, hey, how are you? Miss Reed, good to see you. Miss Genevieve, you say you working, but you listen. I'm glad. Naturally rooted, how you doing? You in the bushes? All right. Be careful. Don't let nothing bite you. Hey, Sasha Ellis, how are you? There's my Christian Key. How are you doing? Yeah, everybody's sliding on in a little bit at a time. So while they doing that, the couple more, because we might not get that many more. You know how it is. Anytime we doing crown checks, girl, y'all know we might get a few, we might not get a few. It just be what it be. We have to wait till we clown in to get a crowd. But that's okay, because we're going to talk about it anyway. If they don't catch us on the first go round, hopefully they catch us on the replay so we can talk about some real things every now and then. I don't think it hurt nothing to have a conversation, right? So what prompted this crown chat was just me seeing constantly, hey Cheryl, constantly seeing the gender wars and the attacks and hearing the attacks and hearing how Black folks talking about each other. Y'all know I'm a little different. Y'all know I'm so Black. I'm so Black and I love my folks and I hate to hear it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. So it was like, I took a minute and sat down and, I like to grab my notebooks and get things out of my head and put it on paper so I can kind of explore, like, why is this bothering me so much? Like, what is really digging at me? That's right, Christian. Absolutely. Definitely be one over here. Definitely be one here. But I wanted to kind of dig in and find out, like, why is this upsetting me so much? Like, why is this bugging me? Why is this so irritating? What is really going on? And then when I thought about it, it was real clear. This thing is irritating me because it shouldn't be happening. Simple. It's irritating me because it shouldn't be happening. And the fact that it is happening is actually harming our folks. It ain't harming nobody else but us. That's who it's harming. So it's like, when you think about it, what caused it? Why is it, why are we perpetuating it? Why do we have so many people that make it their business to perpetuate it? And they're actually benefited from it. There's people, let's be real. Hey, Nisi, let's be real. There are people who are making a monetary gain, who are receiving monetary gain for promoting gender wars in the Black community. And I don't want to be one of those people that automatically assumes that it's about, that it is all about, their agents. That's one thing you hear a lot in the conscious community. They'll call people agents in a minute. You just getting there? All right. I'm glad you made it today. That's so awesome. And that's something you hear in the conscious community a lot. They quick to call people agents. This person's an agent. That person is an agent or whatever. And it's like, that ain't the case. I think a lot of times, hey, not your twins, mama. A lot of times what I think we find with our folks is the inability to think critically, so they just follow the crowd. They start to hear people say things, so they just repeat it. They don't think about it. They don't think about the ramifications. Hey, DV. Hey, Rochelle. They don't think about the ramifications at all. Hey, Linda Ford. It's just a matter of repeating talking points that they heard someone else have without even really and truly thinking it through, considering what you're saying, how it impacts the community, how it impacts your own life. And definitely, hey, Jesse, and definitely don't think about, what you're saying, if it's realistic, and if it were realistic, what would that really mean for you? And I think a lot of that goes on because we have all these emotions. And I don't want to be the person that just sounds like I'm just so cold and robotic and I don't have feelings. But I think sometimes being emotional works against us as Black folks. We get emotional and we want to have an emotional response to everything. And let's be honest, there's a lot for us to respond to. The way we feel, our disappointments, our heartbreaks, our everything. It's a lot for us to react to. So if we just go around having emotional outbursts and reactions to everything, we're going to constantly be at the bottom of the totem pole. We're going to constantly come dead last in every race. And it's because we're not thinking. We're just having an emotional reaction. And we have a series of them back to back to back to back. It's like we are a raw nerve of emotional reactions. We are a raw nerve. So I wanted to talk about it today, if that's okay with y'all. If y'all don't mind, can we talk about the gender wars and the fact that, the people that's supposed to love us, we fighting with them. Why are we fighting with the people that's supposed to love us? What is this really about? Do y'all mind talking about it? Because if this is too much of this stuff, or too deep, or y'all ain't trying to go there, let me know and I'll shut up. I know I be talking too much. Like, I get it. I got y'all permission to go head on. Not your twins mama say, please do. Okay, all right. Well, if y'all don't mind, then let's get on into this thing, okay? Because I got a lot of thoughts about it. That's why, today I came on a little bit earlier. I've been honestly playing with the times of Crown Chat too, because we were coming on this around this time initially, if y'all remember, okay? We were coming on around this time initially, and then it was people who needed me to come on later. So I went on later. And so now I'm trying, and I said, today I'm going to come on earlier intentionally, so that way we got time to really, and we don't really have to rush through it. Hey, Marva, I sent you an inbox on Instagram. Say badly needed. Okay, cool. That's cool. That's cool. But yeah, it really made me feel some type of way that we weren't, I don't know. I feel like we weren't taking it serious. I feel like we were just doing something and following the crowd. And it's like, when you really think about it, you have people who, like I said, even in this space, even in YouTube, on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, you have people who push these toxic talking points, and it doesn't benefit, like even the people who are saying it, it doesn't benefit them unless they're just making money from, uploading whatever they uploaded. Hey, Miss Sparkle. Hey, Candy R. And so, and then not only that, then it filters over. And I'm going to say this real quick before I get into everything I want to say. It filters over into your very reality TV shows that you like to watch, the things that you like to say, not watch, but yeah, the shows we like to watch, and how the clear people will actually put some of the stereotypes and some of the talking points, that some of the toxicity into their programming. And they will build it in, and it actually benefits them to insult you. And then, we will look back and we'll say, well, why are they saying that? Why are they doing what they're doing? Hey, DT, I'm glad you made it. He says, don't forget to hit that like button. Today, I'll be taking a step back from this topic and just being a listener. Okay. But would love to hear everyone's thoughts on this. Okay. Well, we're just going to talk about, because, we got to figure out what it is and why, the people we're supposed to love, we fighting. Why are we fighting? That's the thing. Why are we fighting? And who wants us really fighting? And what's the deal? That's the key. What's the deal? So, anywho, let me get on into it. All right. Hold on. I was getting my little notes, child. Grab my little notes. Y'all know I live by my notes. So anyway, one of the first things that I think is detrimental in our community concerning this and what keeps it going. Hold on, I'm missing comments. A lady 747 says, in my humble opinion, many people who've been hurt by opposite gender are finding financial and emotional reward online by demonizing an entire gender. Bingo. That's one of the biggest ones. That's one of the first things I was going to touch on is, that I think causes it to keep happening and perpetuates it is that there's so many sweeping generalizations and these talking points that I'm mentioning. These sweeping generalizations against Black women and against Black men, because it's on both sides. And it's so uncomfortable to listen to unless you are somebody who subscribes to that type of thinking. If you don't think that way, you are never going to be comfortable listening to that stuff. Like something in you is going to be like, this doesn't feel right. Why am I hearing this? Why are they saying this? Let's talk about some of the stuff we hear on Black women. Let's ladies first, as they say, right? And what are some of the things? Y'all put it in the chat too, because this ain't just Nitra running her mouth. Because y'all hear the same stuff I'm hearing, okay? What are some of the negative sweeping generalizations we hear about Black women? Hey, Dana. I hear Black women loud. Black women are aggressive. They masculine. They undesirable. They unattractive. Black women are angry. They put it out there that all Black women are single mothers. Yes, say it, Glennis. Hey, girl. They'll say all Black women got attitudes. We got attitudes. Everybody, we mean. Yes. Y'all get where I'm coming from. It goes on and on. We're ghetto, even when we're never from the ghetto. Look what just happened on Bravo with Real Housewives of Potomac. They just let that clear adjacent woman get away with calling a young Black woman who grew up in affluence a hood rat. Yes, they say we're loud, always angry. Nisi says the most common I hear is aggressive. Yep, they'll say all Black women are overweight. Yep, this is normal. They say we're loose. Yes, they will try to say you have loose morals and you easy to go to bed with. These are the type of sweeping generalizations that we hear. And some of the attacks that we hear are about our features, that we look like men when really we look like their mothers. They'll say that, our ambitions, our jobs, our education, it makes us masculine. They'll even say that because we get the education in certain jobs and go into certain industries that somehow we're contributing to Black men not being able to be successful, which is absolutely ridiculous. But the emotional gold diggers, the list is long lips, long list, single mothers. Yes. Big lips. Well, they stopped saying that once the clear women started imitating our lips a whole lot. We don't really hear that from Black men too much because we talking about, Black folks to Black folks. We're talking about Black men and Black women. And that's why I use that picture of Ruby D and Ozzy, because I always love seeing them together. And I use the title, or you see the caption, you were supposed to love me. Because at what point do we realize that the people we're fighting We were supposed to love them and they were supposed to love us. Yeah, they say we lazy and lack ambition while complaining about our hard work and ambition and calling us men for it. Yeah, they'll say we're not submissive enough. All that, all these things. So while each and every one of those sweeping generalizations may be true about some specific women in our community, it may be true about some specific Black women, it is not true about all Black women. So then what exactly is going on? You know, these are adult people. So I'm sure without anybody telling them, they know, right? They know that this is not true about all Black women. Ain't nobody confused and sitting up really thinking that every Black woman is loud, aggressive, masculine, angry, overweight. First of all, we know too many sisters that can't gain an ounce to say all Black women are overweight. But when you hear the generalizations, people will begin to say things like that. People will begin to say things like that. And they don't even consider whether it's true or untrue. They just simply repeat it because it's been said. And hey Vita, they want to be able to attack and to cause harm and to hurt. There's something deeper in there. There's something going on. Yeah, they'll say we work too much and clown us for working hard and say, oh, she works 2 or 3 jobs. There's a reason she's working 2 or 3 jobs. Probably the same reason you need to work them. Okay, there's a bigger picture here. But this is the thing. Some Black men may be intimidated by your strength. But get this, there's a lot of Black men who are not intimidated by your strength. See, this is what I'm saying. We got to stop these sweeping, broad generalizations because that's what causes it. And a lot of times it is in response to an attack they've already given us. You know, we get attacked and then we want to shoot it back. You know, that's how sisters are. We do that. Yeah, they'll say we're too dark and everything else, everything in between. Right? So then let's look at some of the, let's take a look, if y'all don't mind, if we can, at some of the generalizations that we throw at men. What's some of the things that we say about Black men? Some of the negative generalizations that are out there. We'll say that they're unambitious. All of them. We'll say it. That they lack accountability. That they are unable to earn a living and don't value family. They're violent, dangerous, feminized, and cannot compete with their oppressors or any other men on a global level. You know, we'll put that on out there. That these are things that are just true, when in reality, yeah, we'll say they're dogs, that they have an inability to be monogamous. They just can't do it. Yeah, that they're bums. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or we'll say they're mama's boys. That's another good one. Let's see what else we got. They rely too much on their sexual ability. Yes. Hey, McClurg, I'm so glad you made it. Yes, the community at large and even Black women will call them thugs. Okay, good to see you. S. Collins says, yeah, toxic masculinity. Right. Don't appreciate their sisters. That's true. We say that, and some do. And we make these generalizations without breaking down where they're coming from and if it's an actual true statement or if we're just reacting to something that's taking place right now. Because a lot of times it can just be a reaction. And we talk without thinking and we perpetuate some of the things that's going on in these gender wars. Okay? So now, here's the thing. This is just my opinion. I feel like these problems that come up, hey, Evangelist, how are you? I think some of these things that come up within our community where it's Black men fighting with Black women and the name calling and the generalizations and the stereotypes and the insults that become downright vicious. downright vicious. And some of them even become threatening. There was one young woman on YouTube that was actually threatening, man, threatened to do terrible things to her and kill her, you know, and it was within that gender war space. And it doesn't stay in those spaces. It bleeds out because people watch those spaces and they come out and they bring those talking points to other areas. Okay. Dana says sometimes it's our environment and how we are raised and the examples that we were. That's true. Yeah, it's disrespectful. Very disrespectful. So what we got to look at is, one, in my opinion, I feel like this is one of those things that is a Black American issue. I have friends that's Black from all over the world, and we don't see this to this level anywhere except Black America, which says that, one, this is a uniquely our problem. And if it's a uniquely our problem, 9 times out of 10, if you think about it, it is tied to our history, our enslavement, our captivity, and our continued oppression in this place. Hey, Sharon Foner, how you doing? Right? So this is what you got to look at. If this is a uniquely our problem, and this is something you see us doing, it's tied to the trauma that we experience just by being Black in this country. So it's not a let's hate Black women or let's hate Black men issue. That's not going to solve your problem. Your behavior and your reactions are coming from a situation that you're in that you didn't have control over. But attacking your sister or your brother is not going to solve your problem. I guarantee you that 100% of the time. Ms. Reese says, I hate the mama's boys phrase because my brother and both of my boys are, but it's not a bad thing. My boys love and ride or die for me, but they're also great men. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's too many. Rashida Abdullah, thank you so much for stopping in. You're listening while working. I love it. Thank you so much. This is our thing. We can all list instances where this just ain't true. All of us can. Especially in my family. Y'all know Phil was gone before I started this channel, but everybody on here know Phil was the best man in the known universe, and nobody better not never dispute me of that. So we all know examples of exceptions to these generalizations, but that's why these generalizations are so wrong, so toxic, so disrespectful, so ugly, and they take away from our collective 100% of the time. Now, the other thing that I want to point out is a lot of these statements, and y'all mentioned it earlier in the chat, are coming from a place of rejection, fear, disappointment, heartbreak, and failures. Okay? So the reality is some of these men who are making statements and attacking sisters and calling them loose and, oh, they only like thugs and blah, blah, smackety, smackety. We've heard it all, right? It's because they were rejected by somebody, or they still feel rejected right now. You know, heartbreak, disappointment, failures. And so the attack turns internal. But when it's internal, it goes to the both of us, because Black men and Black women, because of the fact that we are a part of each other. One of us, we can't exist without each other. It's just not possible. Okay? Now, we have a unique issue here in this country that Black folks don't have other places. I think the situation that we were placed in, that we were put in, forced into here, it was completely unique in that we had very little left of ourselves. Like, everything that made us what we were was stripped away. And so when it was time to rebuild, you had to rebuild based on what you saw as successful. We had to rebuild based on what was held up as the quote unquote American dream, or based on what we saw as family values based on European standards. It had absolutely nothing to do with who we were originally. Because make no mistake about it, slavery is not your history. Slavery interrupted your history. Briefly. DV says, we have to self-love and self-respect. We must give it to one another and be able to receive it, understanding that we deserve it. Very true. But here's the thing, right? The truth is, like I said, we wouldn't exist without each other. What do I mean by that? You not gonna have as much as, you know, with the like I said, in this whole gender war topic and the people who participate in it. Evangelist, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you supporting this stream. That is so awesome. Thank you so much. But as much as people participate in this gender war nonsense, right? Yeah, they're parakeets just parroting back what they heard. We cannot exist without each other. So when it turns into, oh, black women are better than black men and black men are better than black women, and these are your talking points, right? Hey, Vanessa, I'm glad you made it, girl. So glad you made it. And these are your talking points. Understand that you, black woman, in all your glory, you would not be so glorious were there not a black man to help create you. You cannot exist without each other. It took a black man and a black woman to make my black behind. There is no, well, you know, people make these sweeping generalizations and we start talking about, you know, in general, all black men are this and all black men are that. And some people go so deep as to say they were never about nothing, and they find isolated incidents or even multiple incidents, and they will use that as an example to justify the attack on your other half. Because that's what it is. These people are our other half. Like, what are we really doing? Now, I even heard, this one was disturbing, y'all. I heard some women in the YouTube space and in other social media spaces saying things like, stop having black boys. Like, stop giving birth to black male children. Which shook me to the core. I'm a mother who gave birth to a black male child. Me too, Vanessa. That's why we having this talk, because I saw some things that really made me uncomfortable and sad. So I said, okay, even if it ain't popular, I'm talking about it today. Whatever, run the play. We'll talk about some nonsense later and everybody will be happy. But for right now, we're going to talk about this. There were black women, and I mean full black. They were not white adjacent. They were not clear adjacent, excuse me. They were not ambiguous. These were full black women, African presenting black women, phenotypically African black women. Y'all dig what I'm telling you? And they were sitting there having a discussion and trying to justify such a nonsensical comment as stop giving birth to black boys. Stop having black sons. I love my black son too. Right now, he ain't even doing what he's supposed to do, but that's still my boy. That's right. What the what? That's what I said. Rashida said exactly. Slavery is their history. Crimes, oppression committed against another group of people. Right. Absolutely. The truth of the matter is, these black women, beautiful black women at that, sitting there saying ridiculous nonsense, like stop giving birth to black boys, but still have black girls. Now, at the end of the day, when you look at that, number one, it's not possible. You're never going to convince the majority of black women to abort their children if they find out they're male children. That is sick. That's actually something that people would do to an oppressed group of people to keep them in subjection. So the fact that they want to do that to themselves is basically saying, I like to be oppressed. I want to make sure that white supremacy wins at all costs. Let me just abort my male children rather than raise them and set a standard and expect for them to be men. Evangelist says, I gave birth to 6 black boys and adopted 1. That's disgusting. I thought so too. And not only disgusting, it was hurtful. Me too, not your twins, mama. This is what's going on. Like, if y'all think I'm joking, just search it. Y'all know how to search online and find stuff. Y'all can find these conversations. This is what's going on. See, this gender war garbage has gone too far. Candy R says, that's crazy. I have good brothers and uncles and male cousins, all great men. I'm offended by that. I was too, but more than offended, I was hurt. I was hurt because these are my people. These are sisters who look like me. For you to be a black woman, I mean full home, good old black. You came from a black mama and a black daddy, and you sat your tail up there, and you said with a straight face, stop giving birth to black boys. Do you realize if everybody listened to those women, like I said, it's never possible. But the fact that they had something that diabolical in mind, it scares me and it's heartbreaking. If everybody listened to them, where would black women come from? That's the question. If we just stop having black boys within a generation, where would black women come from? By saying that, you're saying that I don't ever want to see myself made again. I don't ever want to see what I find beautiful created again. A lady 747 says that abort black boys idea was in response to black men saying single mothers are responsible for the community being in disarray. She knows she was being nonsensical. She knew she was being nonsensical, but there were a lot of sisters that were making a point for it and were actually advocating and saying it was a great idea. And let me say this, even in response to a black man being ignorant, absolutely that was the wrong thing to do. You don't even put that into the ether. You don't even put that into the air. It does sound like promotion of genocide. That is exactly what it sounds like. So in response to a black male who is presenting as an excuse maker and somebody who is clearly less than, is to say, let's just throw our entire existence away. Let's just stop giving birth to black males. That was foolish. And it didn't just stop there. It went on, and those conversations continue. It didn't stay with the person who had, like I said at the beginning of this talk, an emotional outburst. Being emotional and not being logical or responsible with our words. It carried on. You said, how much has media and government played a role in harming the black community in the U.S.? A lot, but we ain't talking about that. We talking about us. Black men and black women and how we're attacking and fighting each other. That's what we talking about today. We'll get on the media another day. It was way too far. Hey, protect my energy. You ain't missed that much, baby. We've been easing into the comments. Hey, Egypt now, I'm glad you made it. She said it to be offensive. I'm not defending her, but she hits back hard when insulted. Yeah, but that carried. It didn't stay there. That's why you don't do stuff like that. It carried. People were literally using it as a talking point and trying to defend it. It was hurtful. And the thing is, if she called herself trying to hit back hard, let's talk about that for a minute. Who did you really hit? Who did you hit? You trying to insult a black male who was ignorant enough to say that black women or single mothers are responsible for the community being in disarray. If he was that ignorant, nothing you said was going to hit him. Not coming from you, because he has demonstrated already a disdain for you being a black woman. 1. 2, to say stop having male children, what you're really saying in a sense is, I don't want to see no more black girls either. Because I dare you to show me how you can make a black girl without a black mama and a black daddy. I ain't never seen it happen. I've never seen it happen. And the fact that he said what he said, and then she said that foolishness in response, which then carried on, because this ain't all about that. I'm not interested in talking about that one comment. I'm talking about the whole debacle. It was possible because we run around here fighting each other in the first place. Vanessa said, I'm not offended. I understand they are speaking from a painful place that needs to be talked about. Yeah, it was just hurtful to hear that this is how low we have sank in an effort to fight with the people that was supposed to love you. Facts, Miss Barbara. It should have never been said. It got that low to trying to attack and dig deep and cut. See, the problem is when the family fight, don't nobody win. By the time you're attacking your sister or attacking your brother in these gender wars, what you're doing is you're attacking yourself. There's no way for it not to hit you. Yeah, the oppressor mentality is sickening. It's true. Very true. Let me get some more y'all comments. Say that really is awful and hurtful. However it was put out. I'll fight for my son, girl, and catch a bullet about mine. Hey, Kia. Oh, she watching it from the beginning, so she ain't caught up to us yet. Yeah, self-hate at its best. Definitely. And I'm going to tell you something else. That whole divesting conversation, I think is built on the same attitude. And I think with the same result. Rather than loving each other, I'm going to hate you so much that I'm going to make it a campaign that we need to go ahead and just eliminate and eradicate ourselves. Let's eugenically cleanse ourselves. Let's breed ourselves out. Basically, what your oppressor couldn't do to you, you decided, you conceded, and resolved that you'll do it to yourself. Yeah, fighting in a chicken coop. I like that one. Hey, Queena. Bingo. See, this is what I'm saying. This gender war crap has gotten out of hand because it's gotten to a point where we're not building each other. We're trying to find everything possible. It does need to stop. It's out of hand. We try to find everything possible to break the opposite sex down. Hey, Spiller, I'm glad you made it. To break the opposite sex down, to make ourselves look like we're the ones who have it right. Now, here's the thing. Hey, Cool Jen, I'm glad you made it. So glad you made it. Here's the thing. With this gender war stuff, nobody wins. Nobody wins. The hurtful comments, the attacks on Black women, the attacks on Black men, no matter which side it's coming from, I'm calling it out as wrong. Simple. Queen Mermaid, you made it. I'm glad you did. All right. Hey, Sharon. She said, this is a planned attack. I would never insult anyone by telling them not to have Black children. And I have biracial children. I mean, that's cool, but that ain't what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the damage that these gender wars are causing in our community. They're planting dangerous seeds and causing us not to see each other as valuable. It's causing us to see each other as having no value. And that's not true. If no other value, you will never, ever, like I said, for any Black woman thinking, oh, I'm going to just divest or don't have Black male children, you will never, you may as well say you don't want to see no more Black girls either. If you don't want no more Black boys, wait a while and you won't see no more Black girls because you just cannot have one without the other. It takes both of us to create the miracle that is Blackness. Cool Gent said, I hate these gender wars, especially between our own. That's what I don't like. And not only that, you give talking points to your oppressor. You don't think those people sit back and watch us bicker and argue with each other so they can figure out what insults to throw at you and say, well, your women say it about you or your men say that about you. A lady 747 says, yes, it's out of hand. You can't go toe to toe in an argument with a sister. She's going to outdo you every time. It needs to stop. And the thing is, if she's outdoing him, she should pat herself on the back. Be real proud of yourself. You outdid an idiot at being an idiot. Isn't that terrible? As sisters, we want to outdo idiocy. We want to be the best idiot in the conversation. Protect my energy says, exactly, Jesus. When I see the world with my today eyes, I scan now, see the crap my mother was seeing back when I was looking through my 16-year-old eyes. The world, our people, the future, digression. Yeah, we're getting into a place where we're doing the damage to ourselves. They no longer have to. We got it covered. He says, my mental health professional told me I had a very slick mouth. I'm working on it. We can have slick mouths. You know, that natural sassiness that comes to Black women, I don't see anything wrong with it. That has nothing to do with us not attacking each other. The enemy did a heck of a job. They did. And see, this is what I'm saying. It goes deeper. It goes deeper than just trying to have the last word or trying to prove that you're right. At a certain point, when is it okay for you to say, I don't have to be right in every conversation? I don't have to beat you into submission in every conversation. CC Miller says, right, we're supposed to be our brothers and sisters' keeper, not enemies. But if we really look at where this mess comes from, right? Go back to these people's involvement in our lives and our existence and development. Okay? Let's look at it. From the plantation, it was divide. Those people split up families. Sometimes took the babies as soon as the mama could push them out. If that Black man had a family on the plantation, his woman, or a woman he considered his woman, or they had sneaked and had marriage ceremonies, if the owner of the property and the human trafficker didn't allow them to marry, they would sneak and marry, because at that point we still understood that we needed to love each other and we were supposed to love each other. But those folks would see those family units and understood the power of a Black family unit. And the first thing they would do in a lot of cases was to sell the woman and the children away from that man and give him another woman to breed with, like he was cattle. And it began to plant seeds. It started in those awful places where the African Holocaust took place. That's where it started. When they were bending men over and breaking them in front of their family so that their children wouldn't have any hope that the man who was supposed to be their protector could protect them, because they were all put at a disadvantage. It started from there, to break the man in his woman's eyes so she wouldn't see him as her king or priest. It started with our sisters when the ones who were considered desirable or pretty were taken into awful places and victimized by those clear devils in those awful situations and forced to give birth to children that didn't look like them. And now we got people running around looking for that and celebrating it. How you celebrate sexual assault is beyond me. It's sick. It gave the idea that Black women are just loose, they're easy, and it's okay to use them just for sexual gratification. The seeds were planted and they grew and they're still here. It is satanic. It is satanic. But if we're going to talk about the symptoms, let's talk about the sickness. What caused it? Who sneezed on us? It happened again when those people could come into the quarters where these people live and could attack and sexually assault these women in front of their husbands, and there was nothing they could do. It happened again when our girls were taken and used for comfort and made to be whores. Think about this thing now. We're talking about 400 years, thereabouts, of degrading the opposite, our exact opposite in our eyes, to plant a seed. Hey, Lala. And the problem is the seed grew. And instead of us understanding that all of these efforts were made to divide us and keep us fighting and to make us not value each other, All of these things happen. Why would it be so important to break the black family? Why would it be so important to take away a black man's respect from his family so that his family won't respect him and revere him? Why is it so important to make that black woman look like she's less than a woman or that she doesn't have her femininity? Why? It's because the same thing I've been telling y'all for 100 times, and I'm going to say it 100 times again. Hey, that black love is revolutionary. One of the most powerful things you can do, black people, is love each other. But when people tell you to love each other, all I hear is excuses as to why you just can't do it. And then if I ask you if you're proud of your blackness, you'll open that same mouth and say you are. I don't believe you. I can't. They planted seeds of hatred. They stepped back and watched it grow. And who does it benefit? Vanessa said it mimics what happened the Hebrews in Egypt, brought to a foreign land for 400 years. Exactly. We still in captivity. And what's sad is we got folks over here that don't even realize they in captivity. Hey, Tina. Black love is beautiful. But the more you try to get them to see what it is, they refuse to see it. They'd rather fight. They would rather do Master's dirty work for him. Cool Gent said, that's also why they had to get rid of R&B music. They know it brings us together. That's right. They wanted noise out there that's not really music. It doesn't speak to our rhythms. Facts. Now, see, this is the thing. Nisa got a point. Our unity does scare them. You know, at a time it was illegal for us to gather together more than a few people. And we see it now. What happens when we have black groups on social media or black conversations on social media or even in YouTube? What happens? You have clear people who break their necks to infiltrate black conversations. It's not just because they're nosy or they just dying to know or they're inquisitive. No, exactly. It's because they have a natural urge to break up any type of black unity. If black folks are just talking and loving each other, they will walk into the conversation and try to center themselves in the conversation. Hey, Regina. That's right. What you say, girl? You say, here they come. The minute. Yep, sure do. It's true. Yes, that is another tool that was used. They used welfare to influence black women. They didn't need no man. Get the man out the house, answer to us, and we'll help you. And instead of accepting that, we should have found another way. Any way that turned us against each other should have already been the wrong answer in everybody's eyes. Already should have been the answer. But the fact that, matter of fact, let me give you an example. So I was in a Facebook group. This was some years back. I want to say maybe could have been 7 or 8 years back, way back. And so it was actually a productive conversation, y'all. It was black men and black women. And so maybe we should recreate that conversation because it was a great one. And so the conversation was black men and black women apologizing to each other for hurts that they had received at the hands of the opposite sex. So in other words, there were black women who were saying to black men, I'm sorry that you felt rejected. And black men telling black women, I'm sorry that you were made to feel that you were not beautiful. I mean, it was a beautiful, and it was a very good conversation. And I could see a lot of healing going on in that conversation between both sexes. It was great, right? Hey, New Year's, babe. And DT says 10 of y'all watching and hit the like button. Please help us out and hit that like button. So anyway, in the middle of this beautiful conversation, in walks this clear man. Disgusting, clear creature come crawling up in the conversation. And he says, nobody owes anybody any apologies. You just have to suck it up or something of that nature. And a few of us sisters lit on him like killer bees. It's just like something about them seeing us love each other. They feel threatened and they have to insert themselves. They just have to insert themselves. This was an attack, but it was psychological, and it proved to be fruitful because we still ain't stopped fighting with each other to up to right now. Up to right now, we still fighting with the people. Hey, brown skin lady 81, good to see you. We miss you. Oh, that's my sweetheart. We're still fighting with the people we were supposed to love. At some point, we have to look at each other and just tell the truth. You were supposed to love me. We're looking at each other through our oppressor's eyes. Y'all, that's sickness. Cool Gent say, let me say this as a man. It's gotten to the point where if a man is interested in a woman, talking to them feels like a transgression. And that shouldn't be. That should not be. They told us Hebrew women, leave these Hebrew men and we will pay you. So sad we have to rise up. I love when we say that we need each other. We do. On a very basic and real level, we absolutely need each other. Nene Ashley said, that's scary, to be honest. If that ever happened, who would protect us black women? Precisely. Precisely. And not only who would protect black women, who would make black women? Who would make black women? That's why I said on a very basic level, just on its face. If you think being a black woman is wonderful and you never want black womanhood to leave the face of the earth, then I urge you to understand that you need that black man. You will never make a black girl without a black mom and a black daddy. You won't. You won't. You might make something similar, something kind of like that. You know, you might make, I can't believe it's not a black woman, but you will not make a black woman without a black woman and a black man. It takes both halves to create a whole. It takes both halves. Oh, you talking to Queen Mermaid. Let me get out y'all conversation. And just say, I have strong black men that protect me on a daily basis. There's nothing like a brother. Facts. It's true. But we got to really sit there and think about, one, who's benefiting from this? And two, where did this mess start? When you sit down and you think about the fact that this is almost uniquely a Black American problem, and we know our situation as opposed to all other Blacks in the diaspora, and especially on the continent, we have a very unique situation here. I'm going to explain a little bit, because I know some people might not know what I mean when I say our situation is unique. In other situations where African people were trafficked, were human trafficked from the continent to different places around the globe, it started before Willie Lynch. When they went to Cuba, when they went to different places, a lot of times they were from the same cultural group or sometimes from the same region. They were able to maintain some of their languages, their religions. Look at Cuba. Look at Cuba. The Yoruba influence in Cuba is massive. Massive. I was watching a documentary where a gentleman traveled there, and he was Yoruba from Yoruba land in Nigeria. And he traveled there and he was studying and seeing the people, hearing the language. And he took a recording back to play for his grandfather. And there was actually a dialect of Yoruba being spoken in Cuba that is not being spoken in modern day Niger in the South where the Yoruba people are. There you go, girl. I know I got me a big, beautiful black man that God gave me, and God gave me too. And I wouldn't trade him. Yeah, very unique situation. But I was explaining that to say this. In places like Cuba, they were able to keep a lot of their identity. language, religious practices, traditions, all of it. Brazil, same thing. A lot of those, even, oh my gosh, into other South American countries where blacks were human trafficked. Into Jamaica, you had a lot of people that were brought out of modern day Ghana. A lot of Ashanti people were taken into Jamaica, and they were able to keep a lot of their practices, even though over time, you lose things, but that's why they were able to revolt in different places, because they were the same people. They could gather together because they spoke the same language. In Haiti, you had Edo people. Okay, they still practicing voodoo to this day. They didn't lose Vodun. It might have changed a little bit, but they still had it. So what went on in this place, in this cesspool that they call America, which is why I will never call myself an American. How disgusting. And they can kiss my foot and I don't care who don't like it. But what happened here was unique in that there were Africans trafficked from all over the place. Different tribes, different areas, thrown together, not allowed to speak your language, and dare I say, with some of the most vicious, clear people that God ever allowed to exist. This is a unique situation. So you have people that have been broken all the way down, and when it was time to rebuild, as best we could with the few popsicle sticks that we were allowed to have, the only example of what to build was themselves, because they tore up everything that was us. JC said, yep, I had the benefit of visiting Cuba and Brazil a few years ago, and this is so true. I'm telling you. Right. Hey, Chanel, I'm glad you made it. A lady says they separated us in America so we couldn't communicate with each other. Different tribes went to different plantations. Absolutely the truth. They were very calculated in how they separated us and did their best to keep us from being able to relate to each other and to keep us from being able to organize. And yet there was still massive, multiple, one after the other slave revolts, even though they ain't gonna put that in your history books because they want to make you believe that your predecessors were so docile. DT says 11 of y'all still ain't hit the like button. Please help us out. Please and thank you. That's right, DV, division, and they continue to divide us. You have your 15-year-old in the car taking this all in, Shanitra. This is a history lesson. I'm glad the baby's here. Tell the baby auntie said, hey. So what we have to consider when you look at what we're dealing with and how we're seeing each other, and the fact that we had nothing, we literally had to rebuild with nothing as a blueprint. Nothing was the blueprint. Absolutely nothing. When it was time to beautify ourselves, our only blueprint or what they held up in front of us was a European standard of beauty. So much so that you have Black men who hate the sight of Black women because we don't look like that standard of beauty that was held up to them as the absolute apex of femininity when that ain't nothing but a lie. Tell me how a bootleg can compare to the prototype. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. There are a lot of moving parts to what makes us sick here. That's why you all always hear me making the statement that you really cannot talk about being Black in this country without talking about the mental health and the psychological ramifications of being Black in this country, because it comes with a lot of trauma and a lot of history of trauma. Let's talk about it. Some of the attacks on Black women of, oh, they're wearing weave and this and that and the third. But the people who are making these attacks, some of our own brothers, and it's unfortunate. They don't understand the history behind why certain dysfunction exists. When you can understand the dysfunction, first of all, stop calling out the symptoms without treating the sickness. A lot of our sisters, we come from a history, and historically in this place, we had not learned necessarily how to take care of our hair in its natural state. Why? Why were we not taught how to do it? Because historically here for a long time, that was something that we simply could not do. If I'm lying, y'all tell me I'm lying. A lady says it's the subconscious desire to be white that's making us sick. Bingo. It's been held up to you as the standard, and you keep trying to be that standard. That is not your standard. You have been told a lie. You've been told a lie. I want us to really think about this thing when we start talking about our sisters and attacking them because they are adorning themselves. Y'all say I'm telling the truth. I appreciate it. Historically in this place, first of all, plantation, you ain't beautifying yourself unless you are the bed wench. Okay? And then let's move right on along. When our folks begin to start to work and make money, you know, are you all realizing that there were places in this country where it was actually illegal for a Black woman to wear her hair out and show her hair? It was illegal. You couldn't even show your hair. They felt like you was going to seduce their men. If you think I'm lying, go Google it. Everybody likes Google. You can find the facts. It was illegal because your hair defied gravity. It grew up to the heavens while that dog fur flopped to the ground. And it was illegal for you to wear your hair out. And then once those ridiculous restrictive laws were removed, then you can't get a job in their workplace without straightening your hair because your nappy hair offends them. And then in walked Madam C.J. Walker, who said, okay, girls, I know what to do. I got a little lie. Let me hook it up. What you say, Nitra, sip some water, because what you're not going to do is let this conversation be halted by not sipping. You know the devil having a tantrum because you're talking that cash right now. That grow and glow. And that's what I want us to do, grow and glow. We know we look better, can stand the sunlight better, stay younger if we take care of ourselves because we are beautifully Black. It's true. But I want us to think about it. Yes, your antennas, your hair. Say dog fur. That's that wonderfully slick mouth. Yes, I know. I'm sorry. Right. But that's okay. That's okay. So that Brown Skin Lady 81 says their jealousy led them to create narratives that made us hate our assets. Now they want what we have naturally. Right. Okay. So the reality is you got a large portion of Black women's existence in this place where you can't beautify yourself at all. Then it was cover your hair because your hair is offending us when really it was jealousy. Then it was you better straighten that hair and conform because now we're going to impose our standard of beauty on you. We want your hair to hang to the ground like our dog fur. Don't you dare walk around thinking and being proud of the fact that your mane grows to the heavens. So our hair became almost alien to ourselves. The hair became alien. It was too difficult to manage. And you didn't know how to manage it, how to style it, how to beautify it, because it had been what? How long? Almost 400 years of you not knowing how. And then you have our brothers who want to be so judgmental. You not wearing your hair. You need to wear your hair. You need to shut the hell up today. unless you're sitting down to consider why your sisters are not comfortable seeing themselves in their own hair, until you sit down and have a conversation with yourself and your brethren about the fact that your sisters were not even allowed to learn how to do it. Don't you dare open your dirty mouth to chastise or critique a Black woman for not knowing something that she had been denied for almost 400 years. Thank you for the super chat, Queen Mermaid. She said, you're laying this out beautifully. I love crown chats. Thank you so much. See, the truth of the matter is, we both sick, Black men and Black women. There's a lot that we got to recover from. But what's not smart is sitting down and attacking your counterpart because they still sick or because they haven't healed enough to your standards, while you sitting over there with your guts leaking out. It's enough on both sides. There's enough hurt and healing needed on both sides that nobody should be real heavy pointing fingers all willy-nilly without telling the truth about how it got like it is. Thank you for the bullseye spill. I appreciate that. Nene Ashley said there's a lot of hate towards Black love. They hate to see a happy Black couple and will say anything to make it look wrong. Yes, they've been taught to hate it. And the media is behind this one. I will say that. Say, I love putting on a nice protective wig and keeping my natural hair beautifully curly and down my back. That's nice. But this comment right here, I want to deal with this. Angie got the wigs. She did some wig snatching. She throwing hers across the room. A lot of hate towards Black love. Let me tell you something. All you got to do is type Black love into Google and you will see how much they are against it. If you type Black love into Google, they're going to show you an interracial couple. If you type Black man, Black woman, I tested it today just to see what it was. I typed Black man, Black woman. They show pictures of Black men with Asian women, Black men with white women. It was a couple of pictures of Black men and Black women sprinkled in there. But no matter how you try to even research anything, Black men, Black women, they put themselves in there. And I want y'all to understand that there is an agenda. How many of y'all read the ISIS papers? I want you to, if you haven't. You'll never forget another Black woman telling me that we are not supposed to let them see our hair in its natural state. Ridiculous. It's definitely ridiculous. Thanks, Dev. Protect my energy. Thank you so much for the super chat. Say, paying my tithes this good Wednesday. This is a word, Nitra. I thank you. I appreciate that. You say, oh, yeah, I remember doing that. You typed in Black man, Black woman, and you kept seeing all them interracial couples. That's right, S. Collins. You better peep game. That's all they using in commercials now. Interracial this and that. They refuse to show Black men and Black women in a family. If it's a family setting, they got to make sure one of them is clear. They refuse to even put that on your screen. If y'all don't see the agenda, I don't know what else to tell you. The only time it's all Black is if they want to show a single mother. They'll show a Black woman with Black babies then. They ain't going to show no Black woman with mixed babies. Oh, no, because they're trying to plant a seed. DT, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, thank you, Royal Family. Keep up the wisdom that you're speaking today, Shanitra, and also loving the wisdom you all are bringing too. The Royals are bringing it. You got to see what they're doing. They're trying to plant a seed that if you want a family, it needs to be by you including a clear person or somebody who is clear adjacent. Now, those of you all that have read the ISIS papers, y'all know where I'm going with this. Say, that's right. I'm in marketing, would never approve an interracial couple. Precisely. Ms. Reed, you say you've been peep game. I'm glad. Yes, Lala. It's going to take generations to undo the trauma. So attacking each other for still being victim to some of the trauma is counterproductive, and it's counterintuitive. They act like marketing a fully Black couple is offensive. Yes, because they are offended. It's not an act, sis. They mean that. They are truly offended by Black people even wanting to celebrate or show any images of Black people loving each other. And instead of our folks realizing that loving another Black person is one of the most powerful things you can do. And I ain't just talking about romantic love, but absolutely that. Absolutely that. But we got to realize when you go and you attack Black people for, nonsense, and you regurgitate these talking points, it makes me wonder if you really, like, do you just want to be back on the plantation? Do you hate yourself like that? Are we all being punked? See, that's the question. Am I being punked? See, the truth of the matter is there is a reason for every dysfunction that you can find in the Black community, and it's not something that can be easily written off or pointed to as Black man's fault, Black woman's fault. Vanessa says, in all honesty, we see more of our brothers dating outside our race more than Black women. And that may be true. And that, I think that's true on a lot of levels. But we ain't even worrying about that. What I'm talking about is these people have went on a campaign. That's right, Cool Jen. The hate has to go. These people have gone on an out and out campaign to make sure that we don't love each other. Think about that for a minute. They're on a campaign. It's on your television. They're putting it in your face that they don't want you to love each other. And instead, you fall into it and you become a part of it. And you become a part of the Black woman attacks. And you become a part of the Black man attacks. There is a way. Hold on, what JC say? That's right. Oh, I'm sorry for Auntie, but yeah, you want that kind of love. Now, there are solutions to the mess that we can, at this point, we need to be looking for solutions instead of attacking. We need solutions and things that can help us to heal as a collective rather than attacking each other. Okay? Pay attention to what's going on around you. Just pay attention. I'm telling you. The conversations need to shift. The conversations need to shift from finger pointing, name calling, blame throwing, to how do we make it better? How do we make it better? What does it? That's the conversation. I got away from my notes a little bit because I don't want to miss nothing. Like I said, it's by design. We're being played. And I want us to stop being played. I keep putting that point across, and I want y'all to get it. Black love is revolutionary. At every turn, they've done everything possible to stop you from doing it. Now you're stopping yourself and encouraging other people to stop loving each other. Imagine the nonsense. Running around telling Black women, just go get you a clear man. For what? Why are you promoting that? Now, if somebody decides to do that on their own, they got their reasons. But why are we promoting that as an agenda within ourselves? Why are we doing that? It doesn't make sense. It's just the truth. So you got to look at who benefits from these gender wars. Let's talk on that for a minute. See, that's why I started early, because I wanted to make sure we had time to really talk, Ken folks. Who benefits? Back to the ISIS papers, because that's where I was heading with this. Now, hold on. I don't want to miss this. K Jinx has a comment. How you doing? Besides the apparent American agenda to divide Blacks in general, there are legitimate problems that need to be addressed, and the Black love rhetoric is not going to solve it. Baby, you in the wrong place, because Black love ain't rhetoric. Black love is a necessity. It's a necessity. If you're somebody who wants to attack other Black people, I promise you, in the wrong place, baby. We're going to talk about solutions, but to consider love rhetoric lets me know you sick, boss. You're sick. But back to the ISIS paper, because I had a point that I definitely wanted to make Now, one of the things that was covered in the ISIS papers by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing was the idea of genetic annihilation, and that your oppressors fear genetic annihilation. And I agree with that. I actually listened to one strange toothless woman who was a self-proclaimed white supremacist, and she was saying that she was afraid for her children, and she wanted her children to to be okay, and that she felt like Black children needed not to be at the same schools because she didn't want them to have to compete and whatnot. And so I listened to that conversation. I've listened to other conversations. You see, it's not happening though. It's not attack. It's the truth. Baby, you in the wrong place. I keep telling you. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm going to tell the truth. And the truth is addressing issues and coming up with solutions. That's what heals. Making attacks against people without having facts, historical knowledge, or value is just ignorance, and it's not welcomed here. Now, I hope you're not in the wrong place, because I would like for you to stay. Yeah, silence is golden sometimes. Say it again, Ms. Reed. Shanitra, this conversation was long overdue. Thank you. Sorry, I have to go. All right, catch the replay. Yeah, we're getting down to the bottom of it. And leave it to Queen Mermaid. I love it. Yes, darling. That is how it's spelled. So when we start looking at the idea or the theory of genetic annihilation, if you read into that and get an understanding of, it's the fear of what's going on right now. We have people who are clear. Their birth rates are in the toilet, all the way in the toilet. Like, you got whole cities in Spain for sale. They just don't have enough people to populate the cities. Why is this important, Nitra? I'm so glad you asked. It's important because you have to realize what's going on. They need your melanin. The same people who said separate, don't drink out my water fountain, don't come in my restaurant, you can't buy a house in our neighborhood, are now saying we need their genetics. That's what's going on. Why do you think they're promoting interracial this and that on every commercial? It's because they need your genetics, Black woman. They need your genetics, Black man. They need you not to love each other and just go ahead and eugenically cleanse yourself and hand them your genetics. Have you ever heard of Henrietta Lacks? What you have is what they need. Thank you. Black love is too black love will too strong for American clean people. I think spell correct. Got you. But pay attention to the fact, as long as you hate each other, you helping them out. They don't have to worry about strong family units. If we got Black women attacking Black men and talking about, can't none of them earn no money. Black men can't do this. Black men can't do that. And if all the Black men are attacking Black women, you're unattractive and you're masculine, you're ugly, you look like Wesley Snipes, just all this ridiculous stuff. If you're attacking each other, they never have to worry about competing with you in any real way. They don't. You've already beaten each other before you ever got to the starting block. You say all the way down the toilet. Oh, man, that's true. A clear man told me his women are actively stealing our melanin through our men. They are. They are. But this is the thing. We have Black women now who are participating in this nonsense as an emotional response to feeling rejected. Right. Marva, thank you so much for the super chat. She says 100% facts. My word, y'all. Shanitra is my instructor. I appreciate that. Thank you. But we got to talk about it. And there's ways to solve problems. Now, K Jinx, now I don't want you to go nowhere because I want to talk about solutions, because I feel like maybe you want solutions. And there's solutions to it, in my opinion. And these are just my opinions. I ain't nobody. I'm just Eva, Paul, and Emerald's mama. I'm no great scholar that everybody should bow to. I promise you that. But I got some solutions. I got some things that I feel like we can do to start the healing process. Because everybody, when we hear healing, people think it's all about your feelings. And the truth of the matter is some of us don't care nothing about the feeling part of it. Feelings don't matter. We got to deal with the facts. Okay? And I think the fact is the healing that's necessary is a lot of psychological healing. There we go. Cool Jen says we make each other feel like we're not good enough for each other. Bingo. Yahtzee. We got a winner. That's what this is about, for you not to see value in your opposite, in your direct opposite. If you don't see any value in a black man, you would never be able to be a woman, and I mean really be a woman, not a piece of a woman, and keep your home peaceful and submit to your husband because you don't see no value in him. How you going to submit to somebody that you have said on your own, he ain't nothing? How do you submit to nothing? Think about it for a minute. What you say, Trees? Thank you so much. I'm just saying, you know, when I say I ain't nobody, I mean I ain't nobody no other, you know, no better than nobody else. We just having a conversation. If you don't see the value, if a black man never sees the value in his black woman, can he ever treat her as though she's something precious to him? Well, how does the love happen if you don't see value? How do you love something that you feel or you've been tricked into feeling has no value? This is the truth. Cool Gent, lighten up the chat. Truth bomb. So here's some solutions, right? Let's hold each other to a standard. Because I think we got to lean away from the accountability word. Because I think some people don't know how to hold people accountable without name calling, blaming, and attacks. Because there's a difference. And I think when we find people who don't know how to hold the people you love to a standard, I think there's a lack of maturity or a lack of cognitive ability. Maybe and I don't want to say you lack the intelligence, but maybe you just lack the understanding or the know-how of how to do it. Maybe you don't have the tools. Because I don't want to join the band of people slinging insults. I don't want to join the band of people slinging insults. The insults need to stop. Okay? Now, when we hold each other to a standard instead of attacking, it helps to heal the damage. How does it help? Glad you asked. The way it helps is, okay, let's look at it from a black woman's perspective, right? Because see, I've been a girl all my life. I know all about that. I know all about being a girl. I know how to do it. Tarilla, you here, girl? Let me see what you say. Black women need to raise their sons to love their own. I know black women that love them biracial grandchildren as if their son has upgraded. Yeah, you know, that's what we talking about, some of this self-hate stuff. But we're going to get to that. We talking about black men, black women, gender wars right now because I want us to stay laser focused on what we're saying. When we hold each other to a standard, it helps because what happens is this, right? As a black woman, any man can pursue you. Any man, tall, short, fat, small, thick, thin, poor, rich, everything in between, right? Any religion, you know, from any country, anywhere, maybe even aliens, you just don't know. Anybody can pursue you. But as a woman, you have the ability to accept or to not accept your pursuer. Y'all get what I'm saying? Y'all understand where I'm coming from? Because I'm going in a straight line and I want y'all to see this, right? It's very important that y'all go with me on this one. So as a woman, let me ask this question. Why would you accept the advances of a black male who, according to you, has no job, no ambition, he's disrespectful, he has bad credit, he's a criminal, he's a womanizer, a philanderer? Why would you accept the advances of such a man? And then behave inappropriately because that's the kind of man that you aligned yourself with. See, that's where we have to. Now, this is where I'm gonna say, let's hold ourselves accountable. Okay, this is when it's time for mirror time. Hey, Delicia, this is when it's time for mirror time. Hold yourself accountable. If we stop accepting Black men who have not gotten themselves together and they're just not able to get all of our beautiful sisters to give them attention until they get themselves together, over time, I believe that will encourage us to get ourselves together. That will encourage our men to do a little better. Let me make sure that I'm getting my education. Let me make sure I'm starting businesses. Let me make sure that I'm active in my community, that I'm respectful, that I'm not going around here laying up with everybody and all this stuff. You know, if we set these standards and we refuse to accept less than, it will over time encourage better behavior from the opposite sex. The same thing goes for men. Hey, Ashanti says, seems like things are out of order. I've not heard anything about putting God first in relationships during these debates. That's another part of it. We're going to get to it. Hey, how you doing, beautiful? Good to see you. This mindset of just downgrading each other, it makes no sense. Set standards. And then don't be in such a rush to have somebody that you will accept someone who's not complete yet, someone who has not made themselves ready. And then you go around spouting nonsense about none of these men are any good and they can't make no money, they disrespectful, they ain't got no ambition. No, that may be just the man that you accepted that's behaving that way. That's not true about all Black men any more than it's true that all Black women are out of shape. All Black women are overweight. All Black women are mean and angry. All Black women are single mothers. You see how ridiculous that sounds? And when we hear men say foolishness like that, we're immediately offended, as they should be, because it's very insultive. But on the same note, when it comes to our brothers, set your standards. You're the pursuers in most cases. Do not pursue women who don't have a knowledge of themselves. Don't be pursuing women who speak disrespectfully. Don't go and pursue women who disrespect themselves. Don't pursue women who parade themselves around as just a bunch of or a collection of body parts. Stop pursuing women based on what aroused you. Pursue her based on her womanly qualities, because there's more to being a woman than her sexual ability or her sexuality. Daphne, what you say? She said, why are you talking about my husband? I ain't talking about your husband, girl. I ain't never seen him now. Don't do that. BJ there says, I'm here, Shanitra, listening, just cooking. I needed to hear this. This is all I'm getting at, y'all. There's a way to heal each other without trying to hurt each other. We don't have to do this. What are we fighting about? When you think about it, what are we really fighting about? You can fool yourself into thinking you don't care about them. I'm a divest. I don't care about them. I don't want this and that. And I don't care about Black women, this and that. But you're throwing insults. Baby, those insults are coming from a place of hurt. And the fact that you're still hurt over the behaviors of the opposite sex within your own community, it means that you still love them. People you don't love can't hurt you. Y'all will catch that later. People you don't love, they can't hurt you. Yeah, we more than our hips and thighs. But as sisters, we have to show that we're more than our hips and thighs. That's right. Hurt people. And within our community, we got a lot of folks that's hurt and they're lashing out and attacking because nobody is calling them on the carpet for it. This is the type of nonsense that we got to stop doing. Yes, immaturity, pain, and anxiety. It causes a lot of it. This is what it is. The truth of the matter is, We need each other. I need daddy. And not just to pay no bills. I need him. We need to start getting back to who we are and who we were before we allowed the seeds of white supremacy to infiltrate and have us at each other's throats. And not just infiltrate and have us fighting each other. They pretty much planted seeds of disastrous European thinking in our minds when it came to everything. Before our interaction with those people, do you think you would have ever heard black men and black women talking about, I don't believe in gender roles? That sounds crazy to me. It sounds crazy. The idea that a woman is not supposed to be nurturing or loving or raise children or keep her home or be the comfort of her husband. It's a horrible and strange idea. How strange is it that a man who actually naturally, just by nature, has more upper body strength, just naturally stronger, but he's not supposed to necessarily be the protector? How much sense does that make? And so we've allowed the toxicity of European thinking to infect us to where we just out of our African minds, and we're saying and doing all kind of stuff. And you got women who trying to act like their husbands are their wives. You can't submit to your husband because you're trying to make him submit to you. You want to prove that you got more mouth than your husband. You're not earning to help the home. You're earning to prove that you can bring home the bacon. You're the top earner in your house. Now, if it just happens to happen, then it just happens to happen. But y'all know I'm not lying. We have a lot of sisters who have forgotten how to be women. Plain and simple. Think it's something wrong or ugly in being women. And likewise, we've got our men who have forgotten how to be men. We are in a mess. And I just wanted to have this chat today because I feel like somebody got to point out the fact, this gender war crap, let's attack the women, let's attack the men, it ain't working. It ain't working. Now, I will tell you this, I can't tell you how to be no man because I ain't one. I ain't never been one. I had a wonderful daddy. He was the best thing I ever seen. Best thing since sliced bread. But I ain't never been no man. I can tell you what it is to be a woman. Ms. Reese says some were never taught how to be women or men. It's true. And it comes from this disastrous situation that we find ourselves in. Like, we could go on all day talking about the ills of the Black community and where they really start from. And it doesn't start with this gender war crap. I have heard so much nonsense. Oh, and all the danger, the worst thing in the Black community is Black men because they're all violent. Nonsense. The worst thing that happened to the Black community is Black women because they're single mamas. Nonsense. Our problems go way deeper than that. But the solution is a lot simpler. Learn to love each other. And dare I say, I'm thinking that sometimes we can't find love for our sister or for our brother when we look at them. It's because we don't love ourselves. If you can't see yourself in that person, maybe that's why you can't love them. Or maybe you do see yourself in them and you don't love you, so you don't like that part of you that you see represented in them. Vanessa say this is the devil's agenda. It has always been. We wrestle not against flesh. Facts. Right. That's what I want to see. I want us to normalize talking about solutions. Right. It started with European influence. Period. That's what started it. When they started human trafficking. A lady 747 says, it saddens me that men are paying money to wifeless gay relationship coaches. Oh, you talking about Granddaddy Kitten Heels. Okay. Yeah, they be paying them to say all that hateful stuff. They want to attack. But even in the attacks, I see what's going on. It's a lot of, some of it is self-hate, but some of it is still, you still love. You don't fight with people you don't love. When you don't love people, you don't pay them no attention. It's all jokes. That's right, Lala. Femininity is powerful. And there's strength in submission. It takes strength to be submissive. And that's what a lot of sisters do not understand. But in order for you to be able to do that and have your femininity, don't accept a man who has not become a man yet. Wait and let him become what he needs to become. And stop rushing. Because see, some of the time, I'm going to just say it. Sisters, I hope y'all don't throw no rocks at me. Some of the time, we end up in bad situations because as women, you want to rush these men. You like him. He smell good. You like the way he looks. You know, he make you feel good and all these other things. And so you rush him into marriage when you know that man wasn't ready. You know he wasn't prepared to be nobody's husband. And you rushed him into it. And then when you got him uncooked, then you mad and you ready to attack him. Now you ready to become a whole man because you married him before he could become one. When you accept a man who is not what he should be, you are robbing yourself of your own femininity. There's balance in this world. God made us to be balanced. He did. So where he lacks masculinity, you're going to end up displaying it. You are robbing yourself of your femininity. And for what? So you can prove to the world you got a man in name only? And you're also showing the man just how disrespectful you can be to that man. You're showing the whole world. I talk to him any way I want to. He can't tell me nothing. Think about it, y'all. Do it make sense? All I'm saying is I want us to stop and think. Stop and think. Attacking folks don't make you, it doesn't make you clever or witty. It doesn't. Love is powerful and it takes more strength to love. In spite of. Love is not a because of thing, y'all. Love is in spite of. Because when love is because of, eventually that thing that it's because of will wear out. If I just love black men who are wonderful, then I have a hard time loving somebody who ain't so wonderful. It's got to be in spite of the fact that you might not be what you're supposed to be. I still love you because you are part of me. Miss Reese says, yep, I told y'all before I wouldn't mess with my husband until he grew up and became a man. 18 plus does not make you a man or a woman. It's just your age. That's right. All this, what you rushing for? Exactly, girl. Dysfunctional. Love is a strength. But we have got to do better. Wait a minute. Hold on. I just seen something from Cool Jen. I'm going to get up out of here because we done stayed too long. But I just came on early because I wanted us to have time. I didn't want to be rushing. Cool Jen says, one male dating coach told me loving a woman is weak. See there? I had to rebuke their foolishness. Tired of these types of dudes. I'm telling you, and some of those same types of men are engaging in gender wars because they think it makes them strong to attack and bash women. What are you doing? What are you doing? And I say the same thing to black men that I said to black women initially. If you beat, bash, batter, and bruise every black woman and get rid of them, you may as well say black men will be gone the next week. We cannot exist without each other. And I just want us to, wait a minute, what you call it? The lamosphere? Oh, Lord. The trip is, I want us to really just think about the beauty and the strength of a black family. And you can't have it without us learning how to build and love each other. So like basically like that's the whole point of my conversation for today. It ain't just can't we all just get along. We ain't always get along. Sometimes family fights. But can we all learn how to love each other? Can we all acknowledge the value in each other and understand the importance of learning how to understand and love each other? It's easy to point out every fault without discussing intelligently how it got that way. It's easy to attack without saying, I see what you're doing. I understand why you're that way. And I would love for you to be better. And I know you can be better. What's wrong with encouraging the people that you're supposed to love? And I want to leave that with you guys, because I want y'all to just, take that with you. Like when you see your sister, you see your brother anywhere, say it in your head. You were supposed to love me. And tell it to yourself. You were supposed to love that person. We were built to love each other, not to attack each other, not to hate each other. And y'all know I ain't gonna never allow that over here. I feel so sad that that brother left, because I felt like that was male energy for sure. But I really hate that they left, because I want us to understand that we can correct what's wrong without being hateful. Okay? What you say, Treese? Let me get a couple more of these comments and I'm going to get away from here. Treese says, when our kids see it in their household, they will pass that along to their husbands and wives. It's true. It is so very true. So it was a necessary conversation in chat. I appreciate you for holding this conversation in an open space, in unity, and speaking nothing but truth. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. I know I missed some comments and I don't want to miss everything. What you say? You say they take advantage of broken young men and use them. These broken men need to get under righteous brothers' content. It's true. It is true. You say that is the answer to it. Get the heads of the brothers educated, and it will spread to the women and children. Yes, it's true. The men are still the head. The men are still the head. As much as people don't want to hear that, the men are still the head. And if the head is sick, I can promise you the body is sick. I can guarantee you every time. Okay? Wait a minute. You said it. Oh, no. Hey, it happens. It happens. But listen, I enjoyed y'all today. I hope it was okay that we had this talk. I know this is not the most popular content. I know it's not the most popular topics, but I appreciate you guys for coming in and allowing me to, give my opinion on it and allowing me to interact with you all and get your comments and your opinion and your commentary on this thing, because it affects all of us. That's right. You better say that. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful, beautiful thing. So, like I said, I appreciate you. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm glad you came. Those of you who already hit the like button, let me say it again. I thank you. If you haven't hit the like button yet, it ain't too late. Reach on out there and tap that bad boy before you go. That would be super awesome. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. You are welcome here. This is a welcoming space. I can guarantee you the Royal family is the most loving family in all of YouTube. This is a B1 station. If you don't like being black, you might not want to be here. We real black over here, but we also real loving. Okay, if you want to join the Royal family, there's a join button and also a link in the description box below the video. And this evening, those of you who are family members, y'all know we having Bible study tonight. Don't make me come look for you, because I will. Okay, but in the meanwhile, I love you guys. I appreciate you. This was an awesome conversation. Thank you for allowing me to pontificate for a few minutes. I sure appreciate it. It was mighty nice of you. And again, y'all know what I always tell you. Be positive, be productive, be encouraged. And remember, most of all, to encourage somebody else. It won't cost you nothing. And I'll see y'all again later this evening. Okay? Bye, y'all.